What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A breakthrough could be coming in the case of Taiwanese fishers held in China. But as John Van Trieste reports, it's unlikely this could lead to a new chapter in cross-strait ties.
It's a rare moment of cross-strait cooperation. Taiwan and China have reached a settlement over Chinese citizens killed in a chase with Taiwan's Coast Guard. And now there are hopes Taiwanese fishers being held in China could soon come home. In March, China picked up 2 Taiwanese anglers after their engine failed. One of them was a military officer, and once China discovered this, it refused to let him go. Now, though, talk of a potential breakthrough in negotiations has reached the man's mother. That's exciting for those waiting for the release of other people in China's custody. It's almost a month since China seized another Taiwanese boat and held its crew, including non-Taiwanese nationals, for illegal fishing. But even if these talks are successful, China has made it clear they don't signal a change in its attitude towards Taiwan. Beijing says these talks are unofficial, people-to-people affairs. The only way forward, it says, is a return to an arrangement Taiwan's current government rejects, the 1992 consensus, under which both sides acknowledge they belong to a single China. And for its part, Taiwan's government says China must approach Taiwan through official channels.
所有重点都在政府主导，官方才具有公权力，才能够维护国家安全及民众的福祉，才有能力务实解决民众的问题。这是政府存在的目的及价值。
Meaning these talks could be a one-off, a blip of apparent goodwill in an otherwise fraught relationship. Luffy Li and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The Defense Ministry says it spotted 25 Chinese military aircraft and 10 naval ships operating around Taiwan in the last 24 hours. 20 of those aircraft crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait or entered the country's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. The zone is not Taiwan's sovereign airspace, but is used by the military for defensive purposes. Taiwan deployed its own aircraft, vessels, and coastal missile systems in response. The incursions occur a day after Taiwan joined the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China, which held a summit in Taipei on Tuesday. Taiwan's Defense Ministry also noted there will be a rocket launch from Xichang Satellite Launch Center in southwestern China on Thursday that will pass through Taiwan's ADIZ. The head of an engineering firm has been charged with negligent homicide after 3 employees died from radiation exposure. The employees were part of an inspection team that tested radiation levels, and their employer prevented them from wearing the monitoring equipment required by law. 3 of the inspectors later died of cancers linked to long-term radiation exposure.
为避免该配章所侦测之辐射量超标，致使工作人员必须停止作业。涉嫌自97年3月起至108年1月止，指示公司员工于进行检测作业时，不要佩戴计量配章，致该公司无姓员工长期暴露于过量之辐射量，而罹患急性白血症死亡。
Hamas says its top political chief has been killed in Iran. Ismail Haniyeh had been in the capital Tehran to attend the inauguration of Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian. Hamas officials called the assassination a grave escalation in its war with Israel. No party has claimed responsibility for the killing. The assassination of Haniyeh comes just hours after Israel carried out an airstrike on the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Israel says it was a targeted move against a commander of the militant group Hezbollah. As Rosie Grenadier reports, escalating tensions between Israel and Hezbollah have increased fears of war in the Middle East.
Smoke rises above Lebanese capital Beirut after a triple Israeli drone strike. On the ground, emergency services work to rescue the injured in a densely packed suburban neighbourhood. At least 3 civilians, including 2 children, were killed, and 74 others were injured. Israel says their target was a Hezbollah commander named Fuad Shakar, whom they hold responsible for an attack just days ago on the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights. Israeli forces believed he was killed in the Beirut drone strike, but Hezbollah sources say he survived.
He was a senior terrorist who has the blood of the Israelis and many others on his hands.
Hezbollah has denied any responsibility for the recent strike on Golan Heights that killed 12 children playing on a football field. The Iran-backed militant group has exchanged daily fire with Israel since the outbreak in October of its war with Hamas in Gaza. But this strike in the Lebanese capital marks the most significant Israeli escalation, prompting calls for calm from both the UN and US.
We do not believe that all-out war is inevitable, and we still believe that it can be avoided. And we're continuing to work towards a diplomatic resolution that would allow Israeli and Lebanese civilians to return to their homes and live in peace and security. We certainly want to avoid any kind of escalation.
This push for diplomacy, as fears of a wider regional war in the Middle East increase. Israel said its response to the Golan Heights attack would be severe, and there are concerns they will strike again. While Iran had also warned of serious consequences if Israel attacked Lebanon. Tensions in the region have been stoked by the ongoing war in Gaza, where more than 100 Israeli hostages are still being held by Hamas. Experts on the Middle East believe cementing a ceasefire deal there is the only way forward.
Look, I think the focus right now is to get this deal on Gaza done as quickly as possible, because that's going to be the only guarantee that this crisis does not escalate, or there will be no other future crisis like this one that can devolve into a major regional war.
For those in Beirut, now drawn into this conflict, the next steps by Hezbollah and Israel could determine if their home continues to become a battleground. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
More than 150 people are confirmed dead after heavy rains caused landslides in the southern Indian state of Kerala. Even as rescue teams struggle to access the area due to damaged roads and families of the missing wait for news, more rainfall is predicted. Chris Gorin has the story.
Rescuers in the southern Indian state of Kerala are working against the clock after heavy rains caused landslides and floods. More than 150 people are confirmed dead, while the number of missing grows. Many are feared to be buried under the mud and falling rocks.
Actually, casualty എണ്ണം വളരെ കൂടുതലാണ്. ഒരുപാട് രക്ഷാപ്രവർത്തകർ രാവിലെ തൊട്ട് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് ഇതുവരെ എവിടെ എത്തിയിട്ടില്ല. ഇനി ഒരുപാട് ബോഡികൾ കിട്ടാനുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു സൈഡിൽ തെരച്ചിൽ ആരും എത്തിയില്ല എന്നാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ കേട്ടത്. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാവരും ആ ഭാഗത്തേക്കാണ് പോകുന്നത്.
The surging water and piles of mud have made rescue operations especially difficult. A key bridge into the disaster area collapsed, and a number of other roads are inaccessible. Many of the victims were asleep when the landslides happened.
1:40 में पूरा आवाज़ आया. बाद में हम लोग रूम में था, उतर गए. तो मेरा रूम से तकरीबन 30 मीटर दूर पूरा गिर गया. पहाड़ तोड़ के वो पूरा गिर गया.
In hospitals, families of the missing wait for news, wanting to hope for the best, but fearing the worst.
നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ 3 ബോഡിയുടെ പാർട്സ് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഒരു ലേഡിയുടെ ബോഡി നമുക്ക് കഴുത്തിൻ്റെ മുകളിലേക്ക് തലയുമില്ലാത്ത കാലിൻ്റെ താഴേക്കില്ലാത്ത ബോഡി കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ ഓരോരോ പീസസ് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
യാതൊരു പ്രതീക്ഷയില്ല. സാധ്യത വളരെ കുറവാണ്. കാരണം ഭാര്യൻ്റെ പിതാവ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു 70-75 വയസ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കാലുകൊണ്ട് നടക്കാൻ കഴിയാത്ത ഒരാളാണ്.
Military helicopters and around 200 soldiers have been deployed to help in the search and rescue efforts, with the full extent of the devastation still unknown.
The situation continues to remain very grave, but we have news that there are more people missing and the casualty number may go up.
And with more rain forecast for the region, authorities are urging the public to stay alert and prepare the best they can. Chris Ma and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Myanmar's generals are expected to extend the state of emergency that's been in place since they took power in a coup in February 2021. Our reporter Rick Glower spoke to Wang Guan Hong. He is a minister in the country's national unity government, which is trying to restore civilian rule to the country.
So we're expecting that the junta will be extending the state of emergency in Myanmar. Why might the generals do that?
First of all, from day one, where the attempted coup and continued declarations of a state of emergency has been illegal, is not legitimate, and people has been speaking about and the very constitution that they have written, the military, it's against those institutions that the government has abolished. And of course, that's the only way. The exit, they're trying to find every opportunities to maintain the power that they attempted to grab in 2021.
What does control of the country look like at the top, and what does it look like in reality on the ground in Myanmar?
I think the perceptions and reality have a big gap there. The international community perceive that the military still holds significant territory of the country and able to govern the country. In reality, they are not able to govern the country, and the territory that they control is very small compared to what the revolutionary force has revolutionary government and ethnic resistance organizations has been controlling. So this speak the collapse of junta in near future, and they are has not been in good shape to be maintaining the power. Even they extend the state of emergency or not, that doesn't matter. They are very much in survival mode, and we don't know when they're going to be dying.
We're still seeing a lot of conflict, a lot of people displaced. But what sort of system of governance is there on the ground in areas that have been liberated by revolutionary forces?
The cost that we are bearing is from life to livelihood. It's to end the dictatorship for once and for all. Even though the cost is very high, the upcoming generations doesn't need to bear those costs if we are bearing those costs at once. I think the governance that we are putting in place and the rule of law, like rehabilitations, reconstructions of the cities come with this public service delivery as well, and ensuring the safety and security of the civilian, despite there could be risks of airstrike by the junta indiscriminately. We are doing our best to deliver public service to the people of Myanmar in the territory that we control.
That was Myanmar National Unity Government Minister Wang Guan Hong. A rare banner speaking out against Chinese President Xi Jinping has been spotted in the central province of Hunan. The banner refers to Xi as a dictator and demands he step down as the country's leader. It also calls for democratic elections. Video of the protest was widely shared by Chinese activists on social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. The Hunan banner mimics a similar protest held in Beijing in 2022 during the height of China's zero-COVID policy. It's not clear who is behind the banners, but they're sure to draw the attention of Communist Party officials who are quick to stamp out any sign of dissent in the country. Taiwanese swimmer Wang Guan Hong has failed to secure a spot in the Olympic finals. Wang placed 11th overall in the semifinals of the men's 200-meter butterfly with a time of 1 minute and 55 seconds. He is still the best-ranked Asian swimmer in his category at this year's games despite not making the cut. In boxing, Huang Xiaowen was defeated 1-4 by Stanimira Petrova of Bulgaria in the women's bantamweight category. Meanwhile, former Tokyo gold medalist badminton duo Li Yang and Wang Qilin claimed their third victory in the group phase. The pair are set to face China on Wednesday in their last group match. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out these cats and their owners attending Ancient Egypt Cat Night at Shanghai Museum. I'm Yvonne Young. Take care, and I'll see you next time.